Strawberries are on sale. So my wife just came home with 10, I don't know, are these 1 pound things? Yeah, 10 pounds of strawberries. So I've been sitting here, standing here, doing strawberries, watching TV. And she noticed I'm using a knife to do these strawberries with. And she said, "Oh, don't use a knife, use this special tool." So she gave me this little tool that I guess you put between your thumb and index finger. It's like a little pincher thingy. So I tried it, and I guess you're supposed to get this and you put it in between the leaf and the stuff, and you pinch it and you pull the thing out like so. And if you do it right, you're supposed to, get the garbage out of there. Well, I tried it and had some success. So I gave her a pile of strawberries, and she used this little thing here, and I used my steak knife. And so we had a little bit of a contest to see how things went. And basically it came out to be about a dead heat. I like my steak knife. Plus, the thing about my steak knife, if I find a bad spot on the strawberry, I have a knife that I can kind of go ahead and quickly remove the dead spot. So I'm using my steak knife as I take out the stem of the strawberries, and going to freeze dry all these. So I'm on my very last pound of strawberries. And after I get done de-stemming these, then I'm going to go ahead and slice them up. And these strawberries apparently, see, it's October right now, but these strawberries are from the United States. So I'm almost done with my last pound. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and then we'll slice these up and get them ready for the trays. The question you might ask yourself is, how thick should you slice a strawberry? And I'd probably say about 1/4 inch thick. So I've been thinking, I suppose each of these strawberries I get about 4 slices per strawberry, unless the strawberry is really thick. The most important thing is make sure you can count to 10 before and after you do your strawberries. Oh, come on, that was funny. I have all my strawberries all sliced up, all 10 pounds. Now, if you're new to freeze drying, you might arrange your strawberries in your trays something like this. They're all laid out in nice little rows. They look so cute. They're like little teeny hearts. And they're just so adorable. And they're just so nice and even. If you do strawberries like this, it's going to take you weeks to freeze dry this amount. So you may be a little bit timid in being aggressive when it goes to freeze drying, but you need to. So we're going to go big here. So either go big or go somewhere else. But we're going to put 3 pounds per tray. 3 pounds is not a problem per tray with strawberries. But if you're going to put 3 pounds of strawberries on a tray, make sure you put the same amount of weight on every tray so that all the trays have the same amount. Basically, you're going to have the same amount of moisture, so all the trays will finish at the same time. Now, there's a disparity in the heating of all the trays in the freeze dryer, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So I'm going to load up all 4 trays. I have a medium freeze dryer. I'm going to put 3 pounds of strawberry on all 4 trays. So I'm going to do just shy of 12 pounds altogether. If I can't do 3 pounds on each tray, then I'll equal everything out. I got 10 pounds of strawberries. I'm going to maybe run down to the store and get a few more pounds so I can have an equal amount. Once everything is loaded, I'm also going to pre-freeze the strawberries in my freezer rather than putting them in at room temperature in my freeze dryer. It just makes things more efficient. This is how I freeze dry. So I have 4 trays here, and each tray is 1,846 grams. If you've seen my videos, I'm kind of a gram guy. So that basically translates to about 4 pounds per tray. So these are going to go into the freezer to pre-freeze and ready for the freeze dryer by tomorrow morning. There are all kinds of gadgets that you can use to determine if your strawberries still have ice crystals or cold spots in them. But the best thing you have are your own fingers. So I'm just going to go through here. I'm just going to probe the strawberries with clean hands. I'm feeling for cold spots. That's how simple this can be. And no cold spots on this tray. So all my trays of strawberries are all dried, ready to pack up. Then I have my oxygen absorbers. These are all 300 cc. And we're going to go ahead and put 1 in each bag. And we're going to go ahead and put the strawberries in the bag. And then we're going to get the impulse sealer out. And turn it up to 7. Now normally I vacuum seal all my freeze-dried food, but when it comes to fruit, I do not vacuum seal any of my fruit because it just leads to clumping, and that's when basically the food, which is hygroscopic, you'll end up with this one big mass of fruit because the vacuum forces in a Mylar bag or a polyester bag. If you vacuum seal it, it's just going to crush and force all the fruit into one big ball, and it basically destroys your fruit. Now, if you're going to use a mason jar, you can vacuum seal a mason jar, and I'd recommend it. But it won't, because the jar is rigid, it won't cause your fruit to clump. You have all your strawberries freeze dried, and now it comes time to use them. How do you rehydrate the strawberries so they're not all soggy? Well, that's one of the hardest things to do. Strawberries are very difficult to reconstitute without getting mushy, and I played around with strawberries, and the best way I have found to reconstitute strawberries is with ice cold water in a spray bottle. So I have some strawberry slices here on a paper towel. And I like using a paper towel because a paper towel kind of captures the leftover spray and helps reabsorb them from underneath. Now, I've tried using wet paper towel underneath, but that just seems to put too much water into the strawberries, and when the strawberries get wet, they kind of like deflate and become really flat. But from spraying them from above seems to be the best thing to do, and the colder the water, the better the reconstitution. And sometimes I will actually put ice cubes in my spray bottle, and once I spray them pretty heavily, I'll put them into a refrigerator for a few minutes to get nice and chilled so they taste a little bit better. So I'll go ahead and spray these fairly heavy until they're saturated. And it's hard to tell exactly how heavy to spray them, but you know, you can kind of see the water on top of the strawberries. And then I'll go ahead and put these in the refrigerator, and I'll kind of come back and kind of touch them. You can kind of feel when they become spongy, so to speak, but you'll never get the strawberries back to when they were freshly sliced. That's just a matter, that's just the way things are. When they go through the freeze drying process, and the water freezes inside the individual cells, all the cells rupture, and when they get rehydrated, the structure just isn't there anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in the refrigerator and let them chill, and we'll take a look at them. Now, if you really want to think outside the box, now there's another way you can rehydrate strawberries, and that's, putting them in a liquid. But it doesn't have to be water. Well, how about using ginger ale to rehydrate your strawberries? And you can either try ginger ale or, say, apple juice. Now, I'm not a drinker, but I wonder what would happen if you used champagne to rehydrate your strawberries. But anyway, when you rehydrate your fruit, you can try other things. I tried rehydrating them before with apple juice and with ginger ale. I think they're kind of interesting. My wife particularly doesn't like it, but think outside the bottle and try rehydrating your fruit with something other than water. It might be interesting, and you could maybe even freeze rehydrated strawberries in ginger ale and then freeze them and use them to cool down a drink. Here are my strawberries. They were in the fridge for about 20 minutes, and I sprayed them down 2 more times. Some of these are quite thin, as you can kind of see, a little bit still on the wimpy side. Some of these are a little bit thicker, a little bit more firm. These are a little bit more complicated to do than just throwing them into a bowl of water, but they'll never be the same texture as a fresh strawberry. You'll have to choose the best way to reconstitute your strawberries. There are several ways to do it. I have found that strawberries are almost a necessity to have in my inventory. They're seasonal, but when they do come in, they're very inexpensive to freeze dry. They're a good thing to have. So I hope you found this helpful, and I wish you the best of luck in your strawberry adventures. I'd like to thank you for your time, and as always, please subscribe and go forth and freeze dry the world, and I will send you another video soon.